Hey guys, HappyCattyCrypto here and welcome back to the channel. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notifications bell to stay informed. If you've got LUNC, consider delegating with our validator. It's really going to help us out on this journey and it's going to help us continue to remain in the LUNC community. So obviously, I think a lot of you are thinking what I'm thinking at the moment. TFL have settled with the SEC. What now? What happens? What's our exposure? What are the possible outcomes? What are the effects and what to expect over this weekend? So there is a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, we've got the update. We've got this stuff going on with TFL. We've got an update supposedly coming from Chris Armani. I reckon we're due an update on DK as well because they're mentioning DK's name in these documents that all parties have settled. And I don't think they could have settled without DK being present or available to actually attend the thing virtually, so to speak. And obviously he is free to roam Montenegro, supposedly, which is really interesting. So I really thought we would see him on Twitter. He really is that guy. So if you haven't seen my previous video, I'll give you a brief update. This is the document from the district court in New York. And as you can see in here at the bottom, we can see that all parties that were present have oral argument previously set, blah, 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 and it's all been cancelled because the informed court that they have reached a settlement in principle. So this is really interesting because of the other developments that have kind of surrounded this, so to speak. So let's keep this moving and let's bring up the next kind of point we should really make before moving forward is the SEC had demanded 5.3 million. They've settled. So it's going to be a number between 0 and 5.3 million. So obviously we've been covering this a lot. We've got a lot of information and data that we can look at to see what our exposure levels are, what's kind of included in this and what this entails, so to speak. But what else we need to understand is the movements that are surrounding this settlement, and one of those being the Luna Foundation Guard going from a multi-signature wallet to a single ownership wallet, which is really interesting. And I think a lot of you are asking this same question: is why is this coincided with that? Is it a coincidence? Can we tie these together? And honestly, even if you could tie this together and you could kind of say, okay, this is how much there is, we're going to be exposed to this, that, and the other. The exposure with the LFG wallet really isn't anything major for us as a blockchain. So what we need to do is take a look at the LFG reserves. I did a video on this, but I'll cover it again here in this video just to kind of round up the week here for everybody. So as you can see, the exposure at most, because what I'm currently thinking is the Luna Foundation Guard was developed for the original Terra system, which is now Terra Classic. We know that the noms are really funny, so Luna could actually mean Luna Classic. I can't see this being Luna in the LFG because we've been tracking this for a long time. We've not seen that side reach into LFG. In fact, it's just been a ghost. It's been a shell. It's been a whisper in the wind, so to speak, and you've just heard nothing from them. So once again, if we've got any exposure here in the LFG, it's 222 million Luna Classic, which isn't a substantial amount. It's nothing drastic. It wouldn't cause us any serious harm. The rest of it's in BTC, BNB, UST, and AVAX, and a very, very small amount of USDC, which is tied into another wallet. And I think that's why it's not shown here. So USDT, once again, I think they've got a small amount tied into another wallet, which isn't shown here, but it is shown in the court documents. Now, with all of this information, right, we can really start to gauge that our exposure with LFG isn't that big. It's not that drastic. There's not a huge amount for us to worry about. So next thing we would do is look back at this court document, which we've covered multiple times. We've brought it up multiple times. And our exposure here is 70K LUNC and then 15 million USTC coins. It's not a substantial amount. It's not a big hit. Yes, that USTC being sold probably would be a hit to USTC, but the market cap's big enough to tolerate sales like that. Although there's probably not enough market books and everything you would need to more or less offload all of those coins, they could do it over a small amount of time. Obviously, there's all these different routes that could happen and possibilities of them just burning it, getting rid of it. But as a blockchain, we don't own those coins, so it's not something that we can really claim to control or own, or that we have a right to have those coins burned or decide what happens with them. I think the courts now decide what goes where and what is used to pay for what. So once again, this is all going to be very interesting stuff, considering that they've settled, right? And then very recently, Chris has obviously put out this tweet saying there's been a lot of uncertainty since the end of the trial. Like always with these things, I've had to stay quiet while I work out the details. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to share what I've been working on by early next week at the latest. So this is a very interesting statement because once again, this is all fallen around this settlement. And I'm asking these same questions, not that I'm sitting there and I'm sort of going, well, A plus B equals C in this case, because it doesn't. There's a lot of ins and outs. It's not a flat road and there's lots of dips in it. And there's lots of stuff that we can't see that's very circumstantial to the situation in hand. But once again, all interesting stuff to take in, because when I look at this, and per my previous video, is regardless of how this pans out for them, it's bullish for us. If they survive, bullish. If they don't survive, even more bullish. There's not really many negatives here as a blockchain. So the next thing we should go over would definitely be the articles more or less coming out around the civil lawsuit and the fact that it is a civil lawsuit and the circumstances that surround that, and that Do Kwon reaches a tentative settlement with the SEC. And this is really bold for a title, because this would suggest that the writer has information which has led him to write this article, which mentions that DK has had talks in this whole thing. And you would think he would, right? He must retain some kind of ownership over the whole Luna situation and the team and TFL. Being a business entity, he must hold some kind of control, because surely you would have fail safes in place, because if you just handed it all over to Chris Armani, surely Chris could just take the company. So there must be fail safes in place. And this is what I find really interesting, is there's becoming a lot of buzz around this whole situation. And overall it's bullish, because it's just going to be fines. It's not going to be, okay, you guys can't work in crypto, or okay, you've got to shut this down, or this can't continue, or you must cease and desist immediately. It's just fines. And I think this is the best outcome across board moving forward. And it's probably happened at a very good time, because it could have easily dragged down the whole way through this halving event. And we just don't need that. And what I've noticed recently is we're bouncing on that trend line, but more importantly, we're moving with the overall market, and we're moving well. We're not lagging behind. You're not seeing the, I'll bring up a very basic chart for everybody, not to cloud it with my indicators. You're seeing a very, very good movement and mimicking of the market. We're moving with it. We're in sync and we're moving strong. We're not getting small candles. We're getting big candles. And this is what we want to see at the moment, because what it seems like is we're consolidating but in an uptrend. And this has been around since I would say the 11th, between the 12th and the 11th, dropping down there on the 13th. But since then, you've just got this overall trend line that's appearing, getting very good bounces. You could say a bounce there, bounce here again, another bounce there, and another bounce there. So as you're going through, setting higher highs and then higher lows. And this is really important to take note of. And like I've been saying, now what we're going to be waiting for is some kind of doji dragonfly, a head and shoulders pattern, anything to show us that there's possibly a breakout on the horizon. And the day chart's looking interesting. It looks like we could be getting to that point of criticality where it decides whether it wants to move up, whether it wants to move down, or if it wants to just continue to move sideways. But this is really good, because BTC, if you haven't noticed, is taking very, very big swings. And like I've been saying to a lot of people, although everything's moving, although it's going up, it's also coming down, but we're chop solidating. So we're literally just going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, but at the same time in a slight downtrend, as you can see here, setting lower lows and lower highs as we go down. So this is all important stuff. Eventually those ETFs will drop, that'll all get released, and I think we'll see a very bullish move going upwards. A lot of people are at consensus at the moment, and I mean a lot of people are at consensus. So I can imagine crypto's relatively quiet for the past few days, but I think we're bound for a very nice summer, especially for meme coins, but more importantly for the utility market, because we've just not seen the run. We've not seen alts run. We've not seen utilities run, and these decent kind of projects that have got really good kind of use cases. But there's a lot going on Terra Classic. I'm noticing a lot of people are messaging me and asking if I can help them launch a meme coin, if I can sort of help them plan things. And I'm seeing a lot of people that want to launch meme coins. And at this point, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. The more volume, pair it with Luna Classic, and away you go. The more of us that do that, the more people that come to the chain, the more liquidity is that involved. And honestly, it is what it is. You can only fight it for so long in these circumstances, so to speak. I've really come around to meme coins over the past year, although I was very against them at the beginning. So here, just to finish this, and so it's fresh in your minds and you got it at the end of the video, here is the blockchain's going to halt this Sunday. And that's at 4 p.m. UTC. And it's a bit of a peculiar update. There's a lot more involved in it. So if it seems like the chain's halted for a lot longer than it should, validators are not up and running, don't panic. It might just take people 20 minutes longer than it normally does. But other than that, guys, really do enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notifications bell to stay informed. If you've got LUNC, you can delegate with us. Auto compounding available at LUNC Dash. Just head here, connect your wallet, and hit the Delegate compound button, and that will take you to everywhere you need to go. Same here with the Auto compound button. And folks, I'll catch you in the next one.